Blazing wildfires rage throughout southern Mississippi. How have families been affected, and what do you need to know to keep yours safe? MSU Construction takes yet another food option off the menu for the rest of this semester. And MSU Track gears up to take on the SEC Championship. Your Take 30 News starts right now. Welcome back to this week's edition of Take 30 News. I'm Tashanti Trice.
And I'm Trinity Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Wildfires are burning across parts of the South, and Mississippi is feeling the blaze as well, prompting a burn ban in some areas. Multiple wildfires have broken out across the southern region of the United States, from Oklahoma to Texas, all the way to Florida, and even right here in Mississippi. Dry air, low humidity, and increasing winds are creating the perfect conditions for flames to spread quickly. The National Weather Service has issued red flag warnings in several states, including parts of southern Mississippi where fires have jumped the containment line due to windy and dry conditions. Many counties have been placed on burn bans, including Jefferson Davis, Pike, Franklin, and Wilkinson. Officials are urging residents to avoid outdoor burning and properly dispose of any combustible items to reduce the risk of spreading a wildfire.
Be smart about it. Know the weather conditions. If we got 5 to 10 mile per hour winds, it's not bad. If we have 15 to 20 mile per hour winds, I highly suggest you don't burn anything.
While there are still active fires in Perry County and more, some flames have been contained and crews are continuing to work to put them out. As dry conditions continue, officials say the next few days are crucial in preventing new fires. Time now for a first look at our forecast with Campus Connect meteorologist Mark Komodo.
Mark, will we see rain from yesterday with these drought conditions?
You know, the rain from yesterday did help out a little bit with those drought conditions. Over towards the northern parts of northeastern Mississippi, we've gotten over an inch of rain, even close to an inch and a half around Fulton. Closer down towards the Golden Triangle, much less rain, less than a quarter of an inch, but still, any rain helps out with those dry conditions. The good news is we're not going to be seeing any more rain coming in through the weekend or next week. Just until we get into the later half of next week, we're going to have an absolutely gorgeous weekend coming up. Temperatures in the mid 70s, nice sunny skies. All of that, more on that coming up in my full forecast.
A major development in the fight against drug cartels. Officials in Mexico confirm a top cartel leader has died following his capture in an operation supported by the United States. Even as officials report progress in the fight against cartels, many on the ground say the danger is far from over. At airports across Mexico, some travelers say they're feeling uneasy as uncertainty grows following recent cartel activity. In an interview with CNN, one traveler described the tense atmosphere.
It feels like eerily quiet right now, and then you read online that maybe the cartel's regrouping and maybe it's going to get worse now. And
you just want out of here at this point.
100%. Yeah.
You just want to go home.
Yeah.
Scenes like this reflect growing concern among both residents and visitors as cartel activity continues to disrupt daily life. Authorities say the recently captured cartel leader was a high-value target linked to drug trafficking operations that reached into the United States. U.S. intelligence support helped Mexican officials locate the suspect. But even with that progress, signs of violence remain visible in some communities. Video from CNN shows the damage left behind after recent attacks.
I mean, another very obvious sign of the narco-terrorism. Targeting a popular convenience store. This OXXO, look at it, torched.
Experts say while targeting cartel leaders can disrupt operations, it may not immediately stop the violence, as groups often reorganize quickly. Officials say continued cooperation between Mexico and the United States will be key moving forward.
And what's really going to happen?
Officials say the investigation into the cartel's leader death is ongoing.
A prison guard is recovering from serious injuries after a prisoner transport van crashed on Interstate 10 near Ocean Springs last Wednesday, killing one officer and one inmate and injuring several others. Claudia Nichols spoke to the surviving guard's family about his condition.
You can't believe something like that happens.
Tonight, the sister of a prison guard riding inside this white van is describing the moment everything changed. The prison transport van wrecked on I-10 near Ocean Springs last Wednesday, slamming into a white utility truck, then hitting a metal pole. Investigators say Officer Michael Valera and inmate William Rodman were killed. 2 others were life-flighted to the hospital, including 28-year-old prison guard Javier Arroyo.
His legs are broken, his back is broken, his spleen ruptured, and then both of his lungs collapsed shortly after the accident, and he had to be rushed into emergency surgery.
Javier's sister, Carmen Gillen, says her family was stunned when they got the call. Witnesses say within moments of the crash, multiple drivers who saw the van erupt in flames stopped to help before first responders arrived.
Those people were our family's guardian angels, truly, and we are so grateful, especially to Charlie King.
Charlie King is the man who captured the wreck on his dash cam on his way to Baton Rouge to visit family. The video appears to show the van's driver never hit the brakes, plowing into the utility truck before careening off the interstate. King says he pulled over immediately and rushed to help. Investigators say the inmates were handcuffed with waist chains and shackles. Responders had to cut a hole in the side of the van to get them out. Gillen says Javier has worked in corrections for years and recently moved into transports so he could spend more time with his 5-year-old son.
He will put everybody before him. He will give you the shirt off of his back.
She says her family is in New York and Arizona, making it difficult for them to get to the hospital to see him. The Jackson County coroner says the officer and inmate died from blunt force trauma, and the inmate also suffered burns.
Officials said full autopsy results are to be expected to be completed within a few weeks. Coming up next, news on MacArthur Hall, a look at the photography of an MSU alumni, and Mississippi State's role in handling a bald eagle nest. Stay tuned for more after the break.
As concern grows over the declining health of the world's oceans, veterinary students at Mississippi State are learning how to rescue and rehabilitate vulnerable marine animals. Through a unique partnership between the College of Veterinary Medicine and the Institute of Marine Mammal Studies in Gulfport, Mississippi, students are experiencing the chance of a lifetime. Real-time research of this fragile ecosystem prepares students for a future in providing care for sick and stranded dolphins, turtles, sea lions, and other marine species. At the same time, MSU's advanced diagnostic technology is helping innovate for solutions while improving treatment and outcomes. Not only are the waters of the Gulf Coast opening new worlds of discovery for Mississippi State veterinary students, they are much safer now, thanks to this game-changing partnership that's improving life for literally hundreds of aquatic animals.
Welcome back to Take 30 News. Amidst ongoing construction around campus, Mississippi State students have lost yet another beloved option for everyday meals. Here's Cameron Menzingo live from MacArthur Hall for more.
Mississippi State prides themselves on having a plethora of options for dining for their students. But campus's favorite, MacArthur Dining Hall, is taking the semester off. Outside of the well-known Perry or Fresh cafeterias lies MacArthur Hall, which houses the MacArthur Cafe for students to dine in. MacArthur may seem a little bit out of the way as it sits by Barnes & Noble towards the edge of campus, but its diverse food options and changing meal options provide students with enough incentive to make the trip. However, starting at the end of November 2025, MacArthur has been under construction, taking one possibility away from students for their dining needs. MacArthur will be undergoing major renovations according to Mississippi State's newsroom. This is part of the many renovations going on campus. MacArthur is slated to be reopened in August of 2026, but the absence of the cafe is being felt by students who frequented it for their meals.
Yeah, honestly, I really missed having MacArthur just right across the street from the architecture building for lunches. It was always like really convenient, good food. So it has been missed by architect students. And yeah, I'll be gone after this semester, so A little upset that yeah, I don't know if I'll ever have it again, but I hope it'll be better when they're done with all the construction.
State urges their students to utilize the other dining options on campus until MacArthur Hall can be reopened in August of 2026. Back to y'all in the studio.
Thanks, Cameron. A Mississippi State alumnus is sharing stories from one of the world's most breathtaking wildlife events with the Starkville Rotary Club. Photographer Steve Brandon spoke to the group about his experiences following the great wildebeest migration in Eastern Africa. Brandon has traveled to Africa 16 times, visiting 12 different countries, and said the great wildebeest migration is one of the most powerful sights he has witnessed. The annual migration stretches across the Serengeti National Park in Tanzania and into Kenya's Masai Mara National Reserve, where massive herds move in search of water and fresh grazing land.
Really hope that they go themselves to experience the majesty of going and seeing this, but at least listening to me in these programs, come away with a sense of conservation and a sense of the beauty and majesty of our wilderness in both the United States and in Africa and all the other places around the world.
Brandon says he has witnessed the migration 4 different times, watching wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles travel nearly 1,800 miles as a part of one of the largest animal movements on Earth. He told Rotarians the experience highlights the importance of wildlife conservation and protecting natural habitats for future generations.
Here at Mississippi State, researchers spend a lot of time studying wildlife alongside the Gulf Coast, and in this season, our project is giving Biloxi a rare sight into how young bald eagles develop. MSU students and faculty have been closely watching the effort as a new group of young eaglets begin its journey.
This year, the nest is located on private property in Biloxi, where 2 eaglets were carefully and safely retrieved by trained professionals.
We now can watch them go up to Canada and the northern U.S. during the summer, and then they'll return here during the winter. They'll do that for the first few years, and then unfortunately the transmitters, can't get data from them after that period, but we know for the first few years that they follow those same routes north and south. It's exceptional in terms of what we can all bring to the table towards conservation, in terms of using the vehicles, accessing the nest, being able to track the birds, getting some of the longer term data on them, assess the health, and just see what their populations are doing across the coast.
Once on the ground, the young birds received a quick health check and were fitted with small GPS trackers so researchers can follow where they fly and how they grow.
The data helps us understand the flight patterns of the eagles, which helps us in turn understand how important it is to protect the environment here for them to thrive in their natural resources. We're excited to see so many people get involved with following the eagle, especially our students. And so it's a great way to teach people about conservation and the importance of environmental stewardship.
Mississippi State partners say projects like this help train the next generation of conservation leaders, and they encourage students to follow the eagle's progress online as new data comes in.
Well, we've got beautiful sunny skies right here in the heart of Mississippi right now. How long can we expect these clear conditions to stick around? All of that and more coming up in my full Campus Connect forecast after the break.
Mississippi State University, student-led teams are taking one of the country's biggest health issues to heart. Out to unravel one of science's unsolved mysteries, researchers in MSU's Department of Agriculture and Biological Engineering are asking why and when healthy cells in human arteries can begin changing into bone-like structures that hamper blood flow. This calcification contributes to strokes and heart attacks, 2 leading causes of death in Mississippi. As part of their groundbreaking research, students are designing a 3D model that allows them to understand how arteries act within the body and what changes them. By recreating what is happening at the cellular level, researchers are pursuing ways to stop and reverse the process of calcification. Testing treatments could lead to new solutions, helping reduce the number of people struggling with the effects of poor heart health, and ultimately saving lives. Mississippi State University, getting to the heart of better health for Mississippians.
Welcome back to Take 30 News. I'm your Campus Connect meteorologist, Mark Komodo, and it is an absolutely gorgeous day outside with a live look on the south side of the Mississippi State campus right now. Not a cloud in sight. Current temperature 72 degrees, feels more like 75 degrees right now. And for the rest of us here in northeastern Mississippi, it is also really beautiful outside. No clouds over any of us over here. We have this system of high pressure that's been moving in from the west, replacing that cold line that has been moving through. Those are the storms that we got through our area last night. We're not looking to see any more of that rain come through in the short term. For the evening, beautiful night as well. 65 degrees by about 6 p.m., getting into the 50s as we get later on into the evening. Skies will remain clear, so it'll be an absolutely beautiful night if you're going to hang out with some friends. And then overnight, early tomorrow morning, our low temperatures will be getting down into the mid 40s for most of us. 43 degrees in Starkville, a little bit cooler, 42 up in Tupelo and Fulton. For our weekend, though, it is going to continue to remain absolutely beautiful outside. Mid-70s for both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday we'll be seeing much of a repeat of the skies we had today. Not a cloud in sight. We will be having some cloud cover move in for our Sunday though. So what that's going to look like, again, clear right now, and we will remain clear throughout the evening and into tomorrow as well. Not a cloud in sight, just a little bit up towards the north. And then for our Sunday, we will have a little bit of cloud cover move into our area in the morning hours, and that'll stick around throughout the afternoon. As we get into the evening, we do have a chance for rain up towards our north in Union, Prentiss, Tishomingo County. We're expecting that chance to remain way far up to the north over the Tennessee state line. That rain will be sticking around as we get into Monday morning as well, but again, it should not be impactful for us here in northeastern Mississippi. So as you're going about your day, Sunday and Monday, we'll just have some cloud cover. We're not seeing any rain come through in the short term, but as we get later into the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we do have a small chance of rain, 20% increasing up to a 40% chance of rain on Friday. And we'll be tracking that out for you on next week's edition of Take 30 News. But again, for the weekend, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. First day of March on Sunday, 75 degrees, partly cloudy skies. And even those low temperatures getting up into the 50s, and even as we get later into the week, 60s as our lows, 79, 80 degrees as our high temperatures for the end of the week. Almost feeling like summer at this point, especially with those high temperatures and that chance for rain moving on through our area.
Busy weekend for the Bulldogs, and coming up in sports, we got a lot to get to. We'll check in on how baseball and softball are doing, and we'll talk about women's basketball. Stay with us. Your Take 30 Sports is next.
The sense of place. We all have it. Often grown from deep roots in small-town communities. At Mississippi State University, our Carl Small Town Center is strengthening these ties. With nearly 40 years of making a difference, we're revitalizing communities into welcoming places to work, live, and congregate. By weaving together the best pieces of our past with modern technology and amenities, we're creating the hometowns of the future. Places where lifetime memories can be made, where you have all the things you need, along with all the things you want. Through partnerships with our communities, we're identifying improvement opportunities, recommending paths forward, and creating the plans for a better tomorrow.
Welcome back to Take 30. This is Amelia Green with the World of Sports. Mississippi State softball is off to an impressive start this season, opening non-conference play with a 14-1 record and climbing to number 12 in the NFCA coaches poll, the highest ranking in program history. The Bulldogs have been driven by dominant pitching, ranking among the national leaders in total strikeouts while allowing fewer than 1.5 runs per game. And the offense has backed it up with consistent run production through the early tournaments. That momentum now heads on as the road Mississippi State travels to Tiger Invitational for a weekend matchup with Clemson Tigers softball, giving the Bulldogs a key early test against ranked competition before SEC play begins.
The Bulldogs see their biggest test this weekend in a series of games against some of the top power conference teams in the college baseball world.
Arlington, Texas this weekend to compete in the Amegy Bank College Baseball Series. In a series of 3 matchups, the Bulldogs will be taking on the Arizona State Sun Devils, Virginia Tech Hokies,
and the nationally ranked number 1 UCLA Bruins. The Bulldogs will be playing these games coming off an in-week 16-3 win over Austin Peay, avenging a pair of losses from 2024.
I think it showed the kind of quality of the ball club that we have and really what they're made of, that they come ready to play today, that they're not looking past today for what's on the horizon this weekend.
The first game against Arizona State took place at 11 a.m. today. Game 2 will follow up tomorrow against Virginia Tech at 3 p.m. Then the weekend will wrap up on Sunday as the Bulldogs will be taking on number 1 UCLA at 2:30 p.m. The entire weekend will be streamed on Flow College. The Bulldogs have started the season off hot as they rank inside the top 10 in team ERA at 2.61 and top 10 nationally in hitting average with 3.56, and Ace Reese is leading the nation in hits and doubles.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going out and continuing to do what we do. I mean, we're going to keep playing our game, and it's just a different scenery. The game doesn't change. It's being focused on us and what we do and not focusing on the other team and just going out there and playing ball. It's the simple game, and we just got to continue to keep it in perspective with what we do.
Aiden Teal also had this to say about what drives the team.
If there's a win in the column, that's all that matters. So that's really what we care about, and that's what's driving this team right now.
The Bulldogs will go on to beat Arizona State 8-4 earlier today in Game 1. Now let's take it back to Amelia for a look at women's basketball.
Mississippi State women's basketball is wrapping up the regular season, still searching for consistency, but the Bulldogs have shown flashes of what they're capable of against tough SEC competition. They've put together strong second-half runs and lockdown defense stretches that show this team can compete with anyone when they execute. As they head into the next week's SEC tournament, Mississippi State Bulldogs women's basketball will look to reset, tighten up defensively, and use the postseason as a chance to make a run when it matters most. After the break, we'll look into the SEC championship for the track and field, the Landing Sweet 16. Stick around.
Can be a tough way to make a living. Weather, pricing pressures, and unpredictable swings in demand can take a toll, not only on farmers' finances, but on their mental health, as well as that of family members and farm workers. That's why Mississippi State University is spearheading a program to train extension agents to detect the signs of depression, substance abuse, and other stress-related challenges. Everyone has a bad day, of course, but this holistic view of a farmer's circumstances enables MSU representatives to recognize the difference between routine struggles and deeper, more serious issues. It may be a tough conversation, but the sooner it gets started, the sooner farmers can get help to better manage stress and continue the important work of growing the products our world needs. Caring for farms and farmers. Mississippi State University.
Welcome back to Take 30 News. Mississippi State is getting some national attention in a way that you may not expect. For this next story, we're going to take a trip to the Cotton District. The Cotton District in Starkville is getting the spotlight from a national bar and restaurant tournament. The Landing, which came to the Cotton District last year, is moving to the Sweet 16 out of a 64 participant bracket of other bars. The Landing is known for line dancing on Tuesdays and its rooftop bar, which is the claim to fame. The contest is a close one, but Starkville is here to show out.
I like the Landing because it gives me stuff to do during the week. I like line dancing. They have a great space for it in the back there. Really good.
Cross your fingers and stay tuned for updates to see if the Landing makes it to the top 5.
MSU's track team is set to take on the SEC championship this weekend. We go now to Tafeda Wright at the practice field for more.
That's right. I am here at the Texas A&M indoor track facility where teams are doing their final preparations ahead of the start of the 2026 SEC Indoor Championship. Now behind me, athletes are fine-tuning, doing sprints, block starts, and event-specific drills. The SEC is known as one of the hardest conferences in the nation, and Arkansas comes in as defending champions in both the men and women's side. But the race this year will be tight. Now, for the Mississippi State Bulldogs, it's more about building momentum. They've had a great start to the beginning of their season, both in the sprints and the field events. Now, they're looking to just build on that start and score very important points. Now, the atmosphere is calm, but trust, soon it will be intense. I'm Tafeda Wright, reporting for Take 30 News. Back to you in Starkville.
We'll be sure to cheer her on as she competes with the team.
We're wrapping up for today, but first, here's a last look at weather. Mark.
Yeah, well, we're going to have an absolutely beautiful weekend. Nice sunny skies on Saturday, a little bit of cloud moving in on Sunday, but both days we're going to be in the mid-70s. So it'll be wonderful to get that study break as you're preparing for midterms, spend some time outside. And then Monday and Tuesday, we'll be experiencing those warm temperatures again, more sunny skies. Low temperatures overnight will warm up as well, up into the 50s. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we are having a small chance of rain move in through our area, but we are also going to see those temperatures soar up even to about 80 degrees for Thursday and Friday, so we'll really be feeling a little bit like summer by the time we get towards the end of the week.
Mark, you don't realize you just spoke some magic words to me. I'm so ready honestly, I'm ready for spring break, and I'm ready for the weather to stop changing. I don't know about anybody else here, but I can't stand it when the weather just keeps changing back and forth. I get sick.
You never really know what you're going to get with Mississippi.
You don't. And I'm just ready to, I don't know, maybe head out to the beach, head out with some of my friends, not have to worry about doing any work for at least a week.
To wake up with no academic stress is the best thing in the world.
It sounds like a dream. I think that's every college student's dream.
Literally.
Spring break, literally.
Please,
like I
soon enough.
Can't. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Mark, and giving us that weather forecast. That is all that we have this week. So make sure that you follow us on all of our socials for previews next week on our more stories.
And make sure to join us here next time. And this has been your Take 30 News. Have a great weekend and always
Hail State.